We have the opportunity to make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
I would just call it's like leaving the door open.
You want to expound on that?
Well, it's just like leaving the door open. It's like, you know, when the door is closed, you mostly feel your separateness. When the door is open, you feel the way, you can see the way that you may be the same as the other person.
And who's the door in that situation?
Oh, the door is just the part of your, it's probably the part of you that doesn't want to connect.
And what do you do to open it? What's the process of opening?
Well, you know, sometimes the door is open and sometimes it's closed, and sometimes that's appropriate. I don't think you necessarily every minute of the day, you definitely are going to have the door open. But I think when someone, certainly when you're feeling, when you actually have that feeling of wanting to connect, there's just a way of opening your heart to somebody.
Who do you know that in your life that's very empathic, kind of like naturally that way? Is there someone that kind of like stands out?
Well, one of the people that stands out is my mother. And one of the things that was really interesting to me is that she just moved into adult senior living community. And she wasn't eager to do it for a number of reasons that she voiced, and I'm sure for some that she didn't voice. But I think one of the reasons she didn't want to do it is because she's so empathic. And in that senior living community, most of the people are there because they have some kind of physical, they have either some health problems of one persuasion or another. And I think that she's so empathic that it's a hard world for her to live in 24/7 because she has so much empathy for people's suffering.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's really hard for you too to...
Well, it was something I didn't realize until after it just wasn't one of the things I was thinking about when that decision was getting made. And I hadn't really seen her in a situation where she was confronted by so much pain. Yeah.
So you feel that she will take on the pain from the other people that...
Well, I'm not sure she's going to take it on. I don't think she's going to do that, but I do think that, I just think that it has an effect on her. I think it just registers in some way. I just think it registers. And so that, you know, as she walks down the hall and greets people, or as she eats a meal with a group of people, that it just does register on her what if they're suffering in some way at that moment.
Was she like very empathic as you were growing up? You felt that?
Yeah, she was very empathic.
That's where you got your empathy, sense of empathy.
I guess, you know, I guess so, you know. It's amazing how much how tuned in she was.
Do you have any anecdotes?
And it didn't mean we always got everything we wanted as kids, but most of the time I felt pretty understood.
Any anecdotes of something that happened? It's like, oh, where you kind of saw something that was very empathic, like you kind of learned the lesson about empathy growing up?
Well, I remember it just on the... I remember as a young adult, this is not answering your question in quite the way you asked it, but I remember as a young adult being at a friend's house and someone asked their daughter what she would like to drink, and she answered with what she would like to drink, and the grandmother said, "Oh no, you don't want that, you want milk." And I realized that in my childhood nobody would have ever asked me a question and told me that that's not what I wanted. They might have said, well, you know, tonight we're going to have, you know, it's a milk night. That doesn't mean I would have gotten necessarily anything I wanted to drink, but they certainly wouldn't have told me that I didn't want it.
Oh, wow. So I left all that space for you, it sounds like. So.
Yeah, so it was just, it was a moment when I realized that somehow my needs had really mattered when I was a little girl. There was a certain amount of respect. And I said, it's not that every need was met. It's not that, but someone was curious about what those needs were.